Good morning, Valentine. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everybody, wherever you're listening from.
Yes.
We're in.
Welcome, James. How's your week been? How would you describe your week so far?
It's been how will I put it? It's been a cocktail of various activities. Sometimes it's marathon work. Sometimes I'm chilling. Sometimes I'm also just sort of wanting to be alone. Do you understand? And it's just been a cocktail of different things. And then of course there's still the aspect of dealing with clients who want this and that out of the agreement and goods in the agreement. So yeah.
What's the most difficult part of your job? Oh, by the way, Oris, welcome, man. Oris, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Lagos.
Hey, Oris, welcome back.
How are you, my guy?
Most difficult part?
Pure one kind.
You pure one kind. At least there's small purity. It's good. We can take that. So I was talking to James. We're chatting about work and life in general, and he was telling me how his week has been. James, what's the most difficult part of your job?
So the most difficult part is actually getting clients to pay for services. Yes, I think that's the most. That's if you have to, something has been agreed on, then you have to be sometimes chasing them, and then everybody blames on no doubt. But I mean, people get paid for work.
And sometimes, that person you're dealing with might not be able to tell you what the real issue is. And sometimes the decision to pay the money might not be rest in his hands. Because a few weeks back, I had this client I was dealing with. I'm sorry to call you out, clients, but we share one love, right? But this guy told me for weeks, he kept saying, "Oh, they've paid, check, they've paid." I'm like, dude, I'm looking at the account.
That happens a lot.
Things happen like that. All right, let's get back to the gist. Now, today we have a few things to talk about. Interesting stories, right? One of the first stories is what happened before Tuesday. Actually, I think on Monday was when the story broke. Just coincided with Easter. On Easter Sunday, there was a service held at the Waterbrook Church. That's the church that Banky, Wellington, and Adesua attend. And they shared a 1-hour revelatory account of the incidents that surrounded the birth of their child, before, during, and after. Spoke about the traumatic experience that Adesua went through. It was emotional, to say the least. So they shared an account for 1 hour on Sunday, April 4th. The video of the session was shared on YouTube. Most friends retweeted it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or reshared it. The couple revealed a lot about, first of all, how Adesua got trolled on social media. People are sad. A lot of people are sad. He said they trolled her during 2.5 years of their marriage and called her barren, and described her in many unsavory words. I like how the candor of Banky W in retorting to that, saying that, on social media, people try to pass on their pain on others, which is actually true. Poor Adesua, by the way. Another account that they shared was the IVF process that they had to go through, the in vitro fertilization process that a lot of women actually take on just to see how they can get the egg and the sperm to fertilize outside the shell, which is the body. And that process is daunting for a lot of women and emotionally traumatic. Talked about losing twins, how she conceived twins, and then she found out that the doctors now told her that the twins had died. How she got back to the house and realized, and it dawned on her the experience that most women have to go through, that she had to leave it, and how she wept terribly. And then right after that, it seemed like, their nights turned into morning, where after all the sacrifices they made and having to rekindle their faith in God, they got blessed with a child. So very nice experience. And I like how they carry everyone along. But after that account, I mean, hearing what you heard, seeing the video, of that revelation, what did you make of it, James? What are the lessons you picked from it? What do you like to share in reaction to that?
So I think one of the most important lessons I picked from it is patience and perseverance, and also believing that some of these things are not actually not in your hands or in your power like that. Nature is a great deal orchestrated or approved by God. And so humans can only try, science can only try, but the final result will come from the supernatural being himself, you know. So I really appreciate the fact that they could come out to talk about it right now. I mean, the truth is that it gives hope to a lot of people who are also looking forward to that gift of the womb, you know. It's not particularly easy. A lot of couples, I'm sure if you hear from people want to come out to tell their stories as well, what they've been going through, even some people have even given up. You understand? They've given up. They've said they're just, that is it, they're done. You know, but this just shows that you can keep trying. Look, I mean, we've heard stories about people who's been married for over 20, a decade, 25 years, still ending up conceiving naturally, you know. So some people might not see their own as people just how many years now. You know? But the truth is, mentally, people are going through this thing because when you look at yourself and doctor is telling you that you're fine, you're telling your wife too that she's fine, and then but you're not conceiving. So that means there's something, there's a problem. You know, sometimes some people will say, all the people outside there who are not even ready for to have a baby or who were not expecting to get pregnant, just get pregnant randomly, and some of them are even going looking for ways to abort the kid. And then you that you really want this thing so bad and you're not getting it. And then the society also puts that pressure. People are looking at you after marriage, after 1 year, they're looking at, as you're going outside, they're looking at your tummy. I mean, for the women now, they're looking at their tummy, they're looking at them, and they're asking them questions, how are the wives, how are the children? I mean, for the men, they will ask them, how is your wife and children? They don't even know whether they're not even asking any questions. They don't even understand what you're going through, but they're already asking you, how is wife and children? Because you have married for 2 years or 3 years, you know. But people are going through real life situations, not synonymous or not unique to celebrity. This is not a unique case for Banky and Adesua because they are celebrities, but it's the real life situation. And like I said, this gives hope to people who are also expecting. Not everybody can. IVF is very expensive, so if for people who don't know, if you research it, you'll be surprised that, and there's no guarantee. Nobody guarantees you that yes, it will go through or you have a baby anyway. So you finish spending all that money and then eventually it doesn't come. It will be really, really painful because you would have lost money. You would have gone through a lot for that IVF process. Even the traumatic experience or pressure on both couple. So it's just crazy. But thank God that this one came out, ended in praise, and then it has given hope and told people that this thing is possible. Once you believe in yourself, once you stand together in faith, it will happen eventually. So I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
Well said, James. Thank you very much for that. Preach. Oris, please, your take on this one. Muted.
I think there are two. Two categories in terms of lessons to be learned from this story. I think the first one, one for the neutral, in quotes, that's for the unbelieving, and another for the believer. I think the song they released before doing this video, the Final Say video, I think is particularly important for Christians to understand that end of the day, it's not about, I guess, what you think, or it's not even about what science is. It's pretty much about God. Then for the for the non-believing among us, I think it's important to understand how necessary it was for them. No, I don't know what is not necessary. How beneficial it is, yes, that they were as open as they were about what they had faced. I don't know that there's a lot of celebrities, especially in Nigeria, who would quite frankly speak about such an issue as I guess. I mean, Banky said at some point that the doctors had said his sperm morphology was off.
Yeah, they said something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Adesua said something about the doctor saying she had
PCOS. Yes, polycystic ovary syndrome. Yes.
And so yeah, those are particularly. I mean, if you are in the medical space, those are very troubling things to tell anybody, to tell a patient. And so for these guys to come out and say this, I think it means that people who are also suffering the same thing might feel, what's the word, a sense of kinship, a sense that, you know what, they are not, it's not peculiar to them, and it's not because they are who they are. I mean, if it's people as successful as Banky and Adesua can have such issues, it's not particularly about something they have done, perhaps. So I think it's necessary to understand, those are two spaces in which people could pretty much connect to what they have said. For me, watching it, I was like, okay, I like the fact that they did it together. It wasn't a case of, you know, of course, somebody speaking for the other. Both of them said their parts of the story and how they felt throughout the trying period. But, you know, it's funny. This is just 2.5 years, right? There are people who have like longer term. So it's just funny how to be a celebrity means to like pretty much be have people's expectations like more exaggerated in your own case. It's just 2.5 years. I mean, there are people who consciously say, you know what, for the first 3, 4, 5 years, they would pretty much avoid having kids. But people like 2.5 years already having this one being told online. It's just it's a bit ridiculous, to be honest.
Dude, let me tell you, see, if I had Akara here, I'll just send it to you, to be honest, because you hit the nail on the head. Dude, it's 8:27 a.m. What else would you be eating? Is he about?
No, he likes pap as well. Pap.
Okay, I'll add pap. Thank you, James. James, you're my man.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, think of like, we'll add pap to the Akara, make it a balanced diet. But really, no, but see, you actually spoke the truth. Both of you hit the nail on the head on so many levels. You know, the thing about it is, being a celebrity just amplifies expectations, amplifies everything to a whole new level. 2.5 years. Imagine how much trauma, how much angst, how much antagonism Adesua, Banky W, how much rolled eyes, Imu, whatever you want to describe, they get, you know, or they got all through this period and how they struggled. People actually go, you're right, man, Oris, people actually go through 5 years of marriage intentionally not wanting to conceive, right?
Yeah.
Because it's their plan, right? It's their life, it's their body. But when you're a celebrity, you belong to everybody, right? My first reaction, my first thoughts when I saw this video, in fact, not when I saw the video, before I saw the video, when I saw the headline, they shared a video and people started sharing, I was like, okay, you're a celebrity, we get it. You had a baby, great, congratulations. Can we move on? But I now decided to put the force on this one, and I watched the video and I heard everything, and it made so much sense. All this rush of emotion that we're expressing on the show that they might have gone through and the ways we can relate to it, everything just hit me at once. That was one powerful sermon too many, to be honest. I feel like it will last a lot of these young ones this whole year to ingest most of the, the different elements of that sermon. It touched on scientific, the medical angle aspect of the struggle, touched on the religious aspect as well, touches on different things, the emotional struggle and all that. So I think it's important for couples to reflect on this, the revelation, and also realize, like you said, that they're not alone they're human beings, right? Celebrities that you look up to, the Davidos, the Burna Boys, the Banky W's, the Adesuas, they're human beings that run on flesh and blood like you. Adesua said something in account that during the IVF process, and for women who have gone through this, you know how many times you probably get injected. She said some of the nerves on one of her hands are not what she doesn't have any sensation there anymore. And imagine that, the effect of that going forward. And the gratitude they felt even after the IVF process, they didn't conceive until they now decided, you know what, let's just relax. Now, that emotional trauma can cause a lot of people to not even conceive because they're going through pressures on their own, from family, from friends, from society, everywhere. So enough said on this, but I would encourage people to actually watch that video. Make of it what you may, but pick out the valuable lessons from that account. And from the fact, and I commend Banky W and Adesua strongly for being so bold and so strong and so magnanimous to share this story, because they would have kept it to themselves and it wouldn't have made any difference. We would have just been, shalaing to, permit me to use that word, to their, childbirth, and that would have been it. Everyone would just celebrated and moved on. But for them to share this will give a lot of people some comfort. People are struggling. People are actually going through difficult times that no one knows nothing about. You just see people smiling and going about their business without realizing the things that they have to battle with in their private times or their private corners. But that said, thank you guys. Let's move forward. Remember, you can send messages with your reactions and thoughts to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. We're live on YouTube as we're streaming. You can leave a comment on that platform as well. WhatsApp number again 0809 444 0981. Feel free to comment on Twitter at Smooth981FM. The hashtag to use there is Grapevine981. We have heard, by the way, that Omotola Jalade Kinde, Genevieve Naji, Funka Kindele, Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, Mr. Easy, amongst others, have been mentioned in Forbes Africa for their achievements so far. The latest edition of Forbes Africa 100 Most Influential Innovators, Inventors, and Icons issue has these people I just mentioned. First, Genevieve was recognized for making history with her directorial debut for the movie Lionheart. Omotola was recognized as well for her feature in Charles Okpalake's Rattlesnake. And the details of this story was erroneously pegged as Neck of the Pretty Serpent, but she didn't make an appearance in that one. It was Rattlesnake. Also includes Funke Akindele with her influence in the Nollywood industry, as well as Burna Boy for his Grammy win, and Davido and Mr. Easy. But your thoughts on these mentions, James? Forbes Africa is a magazine a lot of people actually been looking up to. They mentioned, some of the accounts or the reactions that trailed the 30 under 30 announcement sometime last year or 2 years ago. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I like it's okay to recognize people for what they've put into their various fields. It's it's encouraging. I think that recognition alone sort of gives you a boost as to give you that feeling that you are doing something right. Sometimes in my head, I want to think that it's just PR, But the truth is, when I look at it from another perspective, which is what I also do in my own field, I just feel like it's okay to be given that part. I mean, we shouldn't look at it like it doesn't matter, or it's just PR. It's something that should be encouraged. Just give people due credit for what they've put into their field. One of the names that I really sort of okay. So let me look at. I feel like maybe they should have given. If it's about the age thing, okay, then it can pass. But if it was random in terms of just recognizing people, I used to feel like I don't think they give Adoni enough credit for what she's putting into this, into the movie industry. That's just to say that. But one of the names that actually people don't really, I feel like they still underrate this guy is Mr. Easy. Mr. Easy has been, in fact, that guy, you can almost say he works times 10. Now, maybe not as slightly, let me not say hard, but smart. The guy has been making, that's one of the people that you never even, if you're calling names of artists these days, you might miss out Mr. Easy. But look at the things that guys putting into the work is just amazing. The guy is working really smart and is making it count. And people, if we're not seeing it here, people are seeing it outside. His books are showing it. So shout out to Mr. Easy, really. And every other person has been mentioned.
James, you're right. But Oris, I'll let you speak before I share my thoughts on what you just said, the allusion to Mr. Easy. Oris?
Yeah, I think it's a mostly deserving list. Although I have my, as usual, I have my 2 naira beef.
Go right ahead.
I have my 2 naira beef with some of the names. So initially, when I had read the notice, I mean, just as you mentioned during, when you were speaking just now, Valentine, about Omotola's turn in what's the name of the film, in Rattlesnake, and I'd seen in the Pretty Serpent. As somebody who watches a whole lot of Hollywood because I write about it, let's just say I was particularly displeased because if anybody has seen the Pretty Serpent, oh my goodness, it's a bit of a train wreck of a film, to be honest. And so I felt like yes, that there's no.
Which Rattlesnake or Neck of the Pretty Serpent?
In a Pretty Serpent. I'm
the
saying
old
that
one or the new one?
You said
the old or the remake?
Of course, the remake. No, of course. You know, the old movies, they are mostly above, what's they called, criticism, because, of course, they're working with their own time and everything. But considering all of what we have now, it's a shame when we have movies who are like just this, that are just this poor, especially knowing how much, what's his name, Charles Palake puts into his movie in terms of at least the finance and the production values. But both, to be honest, both films, both the remake of Rattlesnake and the remake of Eneka Pretty Serpents, they are actually not very good movies, to be fair. And the one they had done first, the Living in Bondage, was a whole lot better. But even with these two not very good films, Eneka Pretty Serpents is really, really, really poor. So I was really shocked that why is it this film? But yeah, you are right. It's Rattlesnake that was instead praised. But frankly, I do not know that Omotola over the past few years has been quite a sterling example of Nollywood ambassadorship over the past few years in terms of her acting. Of course, outside of the big screen, perhaps she's doing like really great work. But in terms of the acting, I honestly am not quite convinced. And I think that in that regard, Genevieve has been a superior artist. But, you know, these are all honors that for me, I do not think it's necessary to say, you know what, do not give this person. And just like, you know, we'll celebrate everybody because all of them are Nigerians. I'm a patriotic Nigerian. Thank God. So yes, but broadly speaking, it's a great list. Most of the people, they have done a lot of things. I wondered why Genevieve's, I think Leonard was 2 years ago now, why it's only coming now. That should have been in an earlier list. But I mean, it's Forbes Africa. They can do whatever it is they please. But yeah, so good list. Not happy with some of the names, but I'm not going to say anything beyond that.
So before I get to Mr. Eze, let's talk about the Nneka the Producer. What issues do you have? Because I enjoyed the movie. And I saw it. Wait, and I saw, hold on. So when it premiered, I couldn't see it.
Just be prepared.
Chill. Hang on. It premiered in December, right? It had this nice premiere, like the first official premiere.
Yeah, they always have great premieres.
So no. So that first premiere was like bad. That one was bad. Why? Because of some editing flaws that occurred. Right? They didn't have most of the clips that they needed to include, and some of the VFX that should be included. But when it was released, they later re-released it for cinemas, right? And if you saw that cinema cut, you'd realize that they actually included some of the parts that were missing in the first part. Have you seen it again?
Yeah, but so no. Sorry, Val. No, but my statement is not about the technical aspects of the movie.
Okay.
It's really about the storyline and about the. So yeah, it's about the story and the acting. In fact, let's just say it's mostly a directing problem, because you cannot have a film that purports to be a remake of the original Nneka Pretty Serpent, and you take away a huge chunk of what made it what it was, which is the spirituality. And so you kind of like half-heartedly put in spirituality, but you make the primary method by which Nneka, the central character, does what she does through physics or through kung fu. Why is it the answer? But this is turning into a criticism.
No,
why is the answer? Why is it there as Nneka Pretty Serpent, somebody who seems versed in martial arts, as opposed to somebody who has like a spiritual aspect?
Spiritual powers, yes.
Kind of like, yeah. So that kind of like, what's the word now? Schizophrenia in terms of the writing is just like pretty bad. You cannot have somebody who claims to be to have spiritual powers from whichever, older serpent's spirit character be affecting her. Look at the scene with Bovi, for instance. Do you remember what happened with Bovi? So yes. Just to avoid spoilers.
I recall.
Bovi's character is not particularly dealt with in the way that the earlier Nneka was dealing with characters. He was pretty much neutered, to use the word, through some strange martial arts technique, and we never know what happens afterwards. In terms of the police go and look for one of their members or not. So yeah, it's just a very confused film, frankly.
You know what I really enjoy about this talk we just had is the fact that we quickly or naturally just delved into movie review for a second. But shout out to those you've mentioned. ADIS, and congratulations, by the way. She was just yesterday featured in GQ South Africa. And that's a big win for a Nigerian, because most people just think, oh, this girl, she knows people and blah, blah, blah. That's why she gets featured. But it's actually great work being recognized. And it's a great feat being recognized by other parties, especially GQ South Africa. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to listen to a song that's been featured on Grapevine 981 today. It's by Pink Sweat, At My Worst, featuring Kalani. Stay with us here on the Grapevine 981.
World-class music.
My guys.
If they come for me on social media, it is your fault.
Nah.
Is it the longest?
No. You didn't tell any lie, right?
No, of course not. Is this the longest we've ever gone without a commercial break? I feel like this is from the start to now. There's not been any break so far.
Yes.
Longest, yeah.
True.
Is it the longest, right? Yeah.
The conversation was just flowing. I couldn't imagine myself cutting it short, to be honest. I just wanted it to flow.
Start strong.
Awesome. When we come back, I think we'll just talk about this Oscar story.
Cafe 3-in-1.
All right.
Okay. No, the Wizkid one. Wizkid and Wizkid.
That's quite the story, isn't it?
That's the story.
They just added it not long ago. So yeah, how about that?
Let's talk about that then.
Yes.
For your Airtel line or visit www.airtel.com.ng.
Man, this one is serious basketball.
If you know Sabi your national
I don't know if I should say I didn't see it coming, but I think I did.
To get
Which one?
Airtel.
Which one?
What's the story now?
Network.
Oh, the Wizkid story.
Yeah. Wise kid, Sha. I want to be creative. Wow.
Nigerians, we are not going to kill ourselves.
Well, see that there's nothing different from when you go on social media, you're looking for an actual person, and you don't have like 10 different. This person is not verified. You don't have 10 different accounts.
Classic case of you are born by mistake is what this should be called. Really?
As in you're a bastard.
No, don't use that.
Why not? I swear.
Dude, like I think we should even start talking about it. Really. So
that's what I feel, yeah.
For YouTube viewers, right? The background to this story is Wizkid's manager and baby mama Jada Pollock, but the baby mama part is not relevant to this story. His manager Jada Pollock has reacted to reports of an artist by the name of Wizkid that copied Wizkid's music and put it on streaming platforms, YouTube and the likes. So almost pretend like he's the one, right? He's the owner of the songs. So Jada shared a tweet and said her team is working around the clock to get illegal downloads off of all streaming platforms. The statement reads,
Valentine,
yeah?
Valentine, you are missing the part that the guy has been collecting like about 30 million naira every month.
Royalty.
From the streams.
Hey!
Yes. He has been taking about 30 million every month.
My gosh. Oh my God, let's go back, please. I can't. Let's go. His name is Pinky Sweat. He featured Kelani on this song, At My Worst. A great song to feature or to listen to, by the way, on the Grapevine 981. I suggest that you go to Twitter at Spews981FM Lagos. Use the hashtag Grapevine981. You find the link to the song, listen to the full song, and watch the video. Now, back to the stories. We have James Silas and Oris as my guest analysts, celebrity analyst on the show. Please, put respect on the name. Welcome. Now, celebrities. Imagine they see you outside, you mention your name, Oris or James Silas. Like, oh, you're the one on the Grapevine. I listen to your show all the time. Celebrities.
Not so.
That sounds cool, though.
You know that word doesn't apply to everybody. For some people, it's self-acclaimed celebrity. For some others, it's stolen celebrity status. For some others, it's legit, right? So, but this time around, we'll have a clear case of a legit celebrity and his status being copped by a fake celebrity who is not creative enough to fashion his own name or create his own name and identity, but decides to jock on our own Wizkid. Like, if you want to copy anybody, I would suggest you copy somebody else, like an upcoming artist, not Wizkid. And then this guy went so far as to rename Made in Lagos, and instead of creating something ingenious, he decided to call it something similar. Please, James and Oris, help me understand how somebody will call himself Wise Kid and how he'll rename a whole album Made in Lagos to Lasgidi Made and still make money on top of the lies. Help me understand this, James.
So that guy was also making about $73,000. That's about 30 million naira every month off iTunes and Amazon. This Wise Kid, you know that meme that if you put something, they not say you think say you wise.
Yes,
that's this guy. And literally the guy has been wise. So it's and when you find out eventually, I'm sure when they would have found out, they would have been very embarrassed to say, so people can go through this route. Before we came back on air, I was talking about how you go to Instagram to go and look for somebody, and you have like 20 versions of that celebrity. I mean, it's except the person is verified. That's when you can now identify the real person. But that's how you have various versions. That's what this guy had actually done. And so now the question is, I think we don't really have time to address more on this thing, right? So the question is, so is this a criminal offense? Looking at it generally. So I did not get to hear the guy's songs on iTunes because it had been pulled down at the time. Was it that he just mentioned or just used the same title but not the actual songs? Do you understand?
No, he didn't use the same title. He changed it from Made in Lagos to Lasgidi Made.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
The songs. I see.
The content of that particular EP or album, did he use the same person's song? Because if it's that one, then we can also be asking iTunes what's going on. So, but if he took the album and renamed his own song and named his own songs after Wizkid's all Wizkid's song, it's still the same, or it's very, very similar. Some people just go and type, when you type Wise and Wiz, or you try to type Wiz, you have options, and sometimes you just touch this by mistake. And that's what could have happened in his own case. Because if I go to any of those streaming platforms, I'm looking for Wizkid, I know this is Wizkid. I will not, if I see Wise Kid, that's a different thing entirely. So, but you see those streams would have come from people outside Nigeria, most of them.
Now, this guy lost weight to look like Wizkid. Has a haircut like Wizkid. Dresses like Wizkid.
Yes.
Probably even toned his skin like Wizkid. And here's what he says. He has the effrontery to say, please, I don't want Wahala. I'm just not an upcoming artist. I don't know anything about this. And please, I'm not the one distributing Wizkid's album on Apply Music.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. He doesn't even know how to spell Apple. But he goes on and say, I have my company that distributes my music for me, so I know nothing about this news spreading all over the internet. Thank. How can you see leave the you out of thank you? Why?
Thank you. Like, so you can imagine that kind of explanation. And tell me what's the best way?
Oris.
No, it's true. It's true.
No.
I feel like doing
the thing is, James,
yes.
I think people have forgotten. I mean, this of course is like a bit of a hilarious joke to me, frankly, because people seem to have forgotten that years ago when Burna Boy released his African Dance album, there was that error that kind of boosted his streams when Kanye West and his song
well. Same day.
But that's different. That's
2018.
No, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying that's kind of what happens when you do not know the artist or what you're looking for exactly. So you're being also, so maybe somebody mentioned to you are living in, I don't know, Finland, and somebody mentions to you, there's a guy called Wizkid who you should listen to, and you go and type WI, and then you see Wizkid. You're like, okay, maybe this is the guy. I think that's how.
Or even corrects the name to Wise, for instance.
Something you get exactly. So I don't know. The thing is funny. It's very funny to me because I do not know that it's affected Wizkid so much. And I don't know the
30 million a month.
You said?
It affected him 30 million a month.
Money would have gone to Wizkid. That's the thing. Is that what you think?
Well, here's what Wizkid's manager said, Jada Pollock. Jada Pollock says RCA has been actively working on taking down the illegal uploads across all digital platforms. That's probably why you haven't seen it, James. It's from yesterday morning, relating to the fraudulent Wizkid accounts. Thank you, Wizkid FC, for your dedication and patience. It's not. It does not go unnoticed. Taya says on WhatsApp, by the way, in reaction, says that copycat reminds me of how students submitting a similar response at a class assignment. We all know what went down. Clearly a huge copyright infringement, and definitely is going to come down legally. This one, Omotola Thomas sent in this one. I said, hello, good morning. My name is Omotola Thomas, and I founded an organization. Thank you for that. And I'm going to address your message in the meantime. Gary Neaton says, that guy is refurbished Wizkid for those who can't afford the original one. Cheryl says, if Wizkid album content on Apple is actually different from the real Wizkid's album, it goes to show that the Wizkid guy is not really singing anything spectacular, just vibes, silly fan love, and lots of media hype. So I'll say good for Wizkid. No, the case is different, Cheryl, because Wizkid not only copyrighted the songs or changed the name of the album, use the same songs, please. So let's just keep it straight. Guys, thank you so much for this. It's been fun chatting with you. Albeit short. Yeah, but we had fun, right? Please plug out.
Why did it last?
Plug out, James.
Okay, James Silas on social media. I realize that a lot of times I don't really get to tell you what I do. I'm social.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm an entertainment business consultant. I help with record labels, artists, training. I do. So visit my social media page, James Silas on Instagram, James Silas, or Jam Zone on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, everywhere. Reach out to me, holla at me. Let me know we can do business. See you on the next one.
James is being modest with his description. James is an entertainment and artist management mogul, period. Oris?
Mogul.
Yes, of course.
Mogul.
It's not today.
Not a mogul here. But yeah, so I am Catch Oris on Twitter. That's Catch CATCH on Twitter, and Catch Orisgram, the same CATCH. Catch Orisgram on Instagram. Say hi. I am not a mogul, but if you want anything written from a business proposal to your love notes, I'm the guy.
To start your mogul life.
So love notes.